So the other day I bought Suda51's newest game, Killer is Dead. I enjoyed No More Heroes, loved its sequel, and had a moderately fun time poking fun at Killer 7 with my older brother, so I thought, hey, this'll be a blast. When I got home, I decided to read up a few reviews online to see what I was getting myself into, but all I saw was a load of ultra-feminist twaddle about an optional game mode that I honestly didn't know existed until that point, since the game was heavily under-promoted, but I digress. I went into this with an open mind and a pocket full of dreams. Killer is Dead is another hack and slash because I don't think Grasshopper Manufacture know how to make anything else. The gameplay is the status quo for the genre. You bash your enemies with a katana until you have to dodge their attacks, at which point you get an opportunity to do a rush attack from another angle. If they raise their shields, use a melee attack. Occasionally the game throws in elements of a third-person shooter that are alarmingly similar to Resident Evil 4, but this cut-and-paste formula, while fun, hardly benefits from the limited variation of enemy types. I think there's about 6 or 7 in the entire game, it just doesn't work. Mind you, No More Heroes' big attraction were the bosses, and this hardly fails to deliver on that front. I found the bosses to be a lot of fun consistently through No More Heroes in the sequel, and in this game the bosses are also quite fun. My only issue with the bosses is that the game is far less lenient with resupplies. I mean, a few of the times where I had to shoot them, I found I didn't have enough blood to make a lasting impact, but the only way I could get more was to hurt them. But who cares, the real star of the show here is the character designs and the graphics. Our main character, Mondo Zappa, looks very interesting from the get-go, wearing a dark James Bond-styled suit, just enough unnecessary belts for Tetsuya Nomura's liking, and holy balls, that's a weird robot arm. Mondo's a pretty cool and interesting character just to look at. We've also got Cyborg Mr. T, Nico Robin doing an Eva cosplay, and so many more fun characters to look at. The problem is none of them are particularly well fleshed out. The game's story reveals bits and pieces of character development, but none of it really matters much overall. A good example being Mondo's sidekick, Mika. During the game, she's literally rescued, says a few annoying lines, revives you when you die, and then suddenly is hinted at having some plot significance at the end of the game. I.e., as a character, she doesn't really matter that much. Same thing for Brian. How is it that Mr. T and Robocop's Hawaiian shirt wearing bastard child is just uninteresting and bland? Only a few characters are really necessary as such. Mondo, David, Vivienne and Moonriver are the only ones that make much sense within the game's plot. Other than that, the others just tease you until you realise nothing's gonna happen with them. And now for the bit that's got everyone's panties in a twist, no pun intended. Aside from the main game, there are 3 beauties that are to be seduced, or 4 if you got the limited edition's DLC, in gigolo mode. The way you do this is by going on dates with them. Basically, you look at their faces when they're looking at you and stare at their tits to fill a meter every other time until you can give them presents. Give them enough presents and you get a suggestive cutscene. Do it a few times and you get more suggestive cutscenes. The pro of your review might know this formula from somewhere else. Every Newgrounds porno game since 1999. I don't like it, but not for the reasons that the gaming media have taken, since I'm not an entitled cunt that believes that games should pander for absolutely everyone. It's a subjective art form. I dislike this because it's boring, vacant, and boring. And the fact that the beauties spew the same few lines over and over likens it even more to one of those Newgrounds Flash games. I mean, this game clearly had quite a high budget, so why not put more of it on voice acting? The ending though, that's where I really take issue with this game. Everything felt like it was leading up to something, as if the game were about to hit a climax, and you know what? That climax never really came. I thought the 4th wall-breaking talk of final bosses and the credits rolling were a bait and switch like Bayonetta pulled, but nope, that was genuinely the end of the game. And so many questions just went completely unanswered, probably for the sake of sequel fodder. For those of you who don't want spoilers, click this button now. Okay, are you done? Why did a unicorn bring Mondo to Brian? Who was the unicorn and where did it come from? Did David really kill Mondo's mother? If not, how did Mondo actually lose his arm? Was it the weird creepy guy at the beginning who kidnapped Mika, or was it David? If it was David, why is he not in his whole gold ensemble? What is Mika's relevance to the sun? And why did Snape kill Dumbledore? Is Killer is Dead a worthy successor to Killer 7 and No More Heroes? Well, those games felt severe hallucinations from a schizophrenic man's crazy. This just feels teenage girl and DeviantArt crazy. It's style over substance, and don't get me wrong, even though I pretty much spent this whole review bitching, both are pretty good. I can't honestly say, yes, I am happy I spent 30 of my hard-earned English doubloons on this experience, because it simply doesn't have the longevity to sustain itself, and it just feels like it's a demo for something more. Personally, I'd wait to buy it pre-owned. It'd be worth a tenner, but I can't feel satisfied with my purchase as of current. I've been Pause Break Alex, and that was my opinion on Killer is Dead. If you want to see more Pause Break reviews, then click the subscribe button below, or look at one of the other videos linked here. We've even got Facebook in the description, so check that out too.